friends. Well, Robert Jobson's book has given us a glimpse into what the royal family really thinks about Harry and Meghan behind the scenes. Let's call it a leak. Because you know how the Sussex squad is always leaking things, information of what they think, what they feel, what they're saying, all that. Well, in this case, it seems that what the royal family thinks about the Sussexes has been leaking into this new book about Charles, and which includes the fact that Kate said walking with Harry and Meghan at the funeral was very difficult, hardest thing she ever had to do, which that indicates a strong dislike, and then that the Queen said that Harry and Meghan were quite mad. This is all bad publicity for Harry and Meghan. And she even had the room at Sandringham debugged. She thought that they were bugging the rooms, and they wouldn't let Meghan come on the Zoom call because they thought she'd record it or be sharing this privileged information, which they were probably right. So, my goodness, there must be a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't know about that caused the Queen to be on that high level alert, security alert. Just at the very beginning, just at the announcement of Megxit, she was already on guard that high. That, I am curious of what caused the Queen to be on guard so strongly, immediately. I mean, now, knowing what we know now, how that, Harry shared the conversation he had with his father and William at Prince Philip's funeral, now we know that we would definitely check them for bugs and check the rooms for bugs if people were talking to them. But how did the Queen know that just after Megxit was announced? I mean, there must have been incidences with bugs being found other places that Harry and Meghan had been suspected of planting. And the Queen thought that was a problem and sufficient to have the room searched for bugs. So there's definitely a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, even before Megxit. So probably more is going to come out over the years. And then also in the book, he said that how Charles and William are not planning to talk to Harry by themselves. So, and that the officials were discussing stripping them of their titles up at the very highest levels. So their titles were hanging in the balance, actually hanging in the balance. But Charles stepped in and said, let them keep the titles. And I think that being in the book is a little bit of a warning shot, like being fired across the bow. It is saying that, these titles are hanging in the balance. They're hanging by a thread. And it's only the king's love for his son that is protecting their titles from being taken away. So I think this might be another reason why Harry's motivated to come to the coronation, because he feels not only do they need to keep their connection to the monarchy, but they have to try to get along a little bit. Otherwise, those titles might be going bye-bye. And so this new book reveals a lot behind the scenes that has people talking. And yeah, I think it's a subtle way of communicating to Harry and Meghan that, they're not thought of very favorably at the palace. And things like the titles, are subject to review over time. So depending on their behavior. So we'll see. So I think it's a bit satisfying seeing the royal family get a little bit of their own back, even though it is through leaked information in this new book. So, I'm thinking it may have had something to do with some of the decisions made about who's coming and who wasn't coming to the coronation. But it's good to see the royal family get a chance to put their 2 cents worth in, even though it's kind of indirectly. So, all right. Well, what do you think about everything? Do you think there's going to be more revelations coming out? I think we're going to hear more in the future about why the Queen was so worried about rooms being bugged, what incidences with Harry and Meghan happened leading up to the Mexit Summit. And I'm sure we're going to hear more things coming out over the course of time. All right. Thank you for watching. You take care. Let freedom ring.